we go. Michael, briefly look back at, I lost track of days, the last game. Obviously a fantastic result, and obviously the defensive issues that we've talked about, but just a great result. I've been around the city in the last 24 hours, and once again people are talking about the club, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously scoring 5 goals helped. I do think us taking opportunities was coming. I think we've been creating opportunities in the games of late. Obviously before Sunday we lost a couple of tight games against a couple of very, very good sides. For me, just shown that the lads are more than capable of competing with the top sides in the division. We just have to do it on a regular basis and be more consistent. And it was a great game for us. Good one for the neutral. Hopefully we can back it up again on New Year's Day.
And I think the thing that a lot of Lincoln fans would have noticed at the end of the game, we touched on it in our post-match interview, is under the previous manager, and like I said, there's no criticism of however people do it, the ball would have been in the corner, sit on the ball. But taking from what we watched of your team, I assume this is going to be the way with you generally, is that you went at them still when you were 4-2 up.
Yeah, well, it's one of them where obviously I think I mentioned in one of my very, very early press conferences. I don't know if it's literally the first press conference I did or within a couple of weeks or so, and it's getting that balance, because you've got to recognise who the opposition are, what the strengths and weaknesses are. I remember early on in my career when I first took over at Portsmouth, and certainly going to Blackpool and Blackburn, I drew a lot of games where I was ahead at times, and maybe I should have just run the ball into the corner or asked the players to run the ball in the corner. But I give them the licence and the freedom to see what they see. They knew there was an opportunity, they took the opportunity, and obviously we got the benefits from it. We might not get that on a different day, but I just don't want to stop players from expressing themselves. On Sunday they made a good decision, and between the 3 or 4 players, obviously they scored a great goal.
Do you think that comes a bit from your background and where you've come from in football? Sir Alex Ferguson was very much that type of manager, wasn't he? He wanted to see players express themselves, players be very attacking.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that. Ultimately, there was 2 things that was expected of you when you walked through the door at Man United, and it was made very, very clear. You're expected to win, but you're expected to win by playing well. And they were the 2 first things you get told. You've got to win. There's an expectation to win, but there's an expectation to do it well. I
sort of said as you were reticent to talk about it, but you did talk about the pitch and your concerns about the pitch. Is there discussions ongoing behind the scenes as to a way forward to, probably not this season, but in the longer term, to look to improve the pitch at Cinderbank to help you play the football you want to? Yeah,
of course there is, and there has to be. Ultimately, if we want to move forward and we want to bring players in, our own players that we can produce and have success on the pitch on a short and medium term, but a long term, create value on the pitch and create money for the football club going forward. That is something that we have to address massively. In the short term, I know that's not going to happen, it's not feasible, so we just have to find a way of getting that balance right, of playing at the right times, going forward a little bit earlier at the right times, but never going away from the attacking philosophy.
We're right on the cusp of the start of the transfer window, which I guess the manager some love, some dread. Just on the loan signings, I know we've asked you many times, are you expecting any of the, I think it's 3, isn't it, to stay at the club as things stand at the moment?
I can't give you a straight answer on it. In terms of expectation, if I say yes to all 3 and all of a sudden the clubs decide that that's not the case. So I think it's just ongoing conversations over the next week or so. Getting to an understanding of what they want, what we want, and hopefully coming to a sensible agreement.
I guess the good thing is that the 3 we talk about are all featuring in the team, which is what local parent clubs want.
Absolutely, yeah. It's finding that best for both worlds, I suppose, in a sense. And it's difficult when you take a loan player in, because yes, the parent club want them to play, but ultimately they have to be performing to play. And I think if you're taking a player on loan, as long as you're seen to be giving that player a chance and giving him every opportunity to play and do well, it's up to him to take that opportunity. If he doesn't and he's not performing well, he doesn't play. It's as simple as that.
I wouldn't ask you to comment on every transfer rumour, but one that I got from reasonable sources seemed to have got into the public as well now, about your only registered striker on your books going to Salford and Salford being interested. Is there anything in that at all? That's John Akinda, sorry. Is there anything in that?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because when I first come in, I think apparently they were interested in the summer. So that wouldn't surprise me, and obviously, you know, the very high profile, regardless of being in a division below. Listen, I'm guessing that there's going to be lots of clubs interested in the likes of John, because come January, I know, every other manager knows, everybody looks for a striker to try and improve the squad, and there'll be a lot of clubs no different to me.
Does every player in your squad have a price?
Of course they do, yeah. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I mean that is the model going forward. The reality is we want to produce our own players and we want to develop players, and yes, we want to have that short-term success or medium-term success with that player. But ultimately, you know, if the club's going to be sustainable going forward over the next 4 to 5 years, it can't go in the way it's done, where you just try and get players that are almost ready to play and achieve, because eventually that luck runs out a little bit, and you've got to have players that have got value and can bring money into the football club.
We're going to talk to Michael O'Connor in a couple of minutes, a player that I know you have placed a high value onto your squad. Yeah,
absolutely. No, obviously Michael, he's had his issues with injuries as well, and I suppose just his experience and know-how in the middle of the park helps us a little bit, and what he lacks mobility-wise and getting around the pitch, he certainly makes up, you know, like I say, with experience and know-how, I suppose.
Peterborough United, a team you ran close to the first, I think it'd be fair to say, away from home, and then maybe the quality they got up front told, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they've got quality in a lot of areas. I can't remember if they're still the top goal scorers, but if they're not, they're definitely up there in the top 2 or 3 in this division, and there's a reason for that, because they've got quality all over the pitch. We're aware of that. Like you said, down at their place, was it October, November time, we played well. Thought we played really well in the game up to like the 70-75 minute mark. Probably lost our impetus a little bit when the first goal went in. I think we've moved on from that, if I'm being honest. I think we've got to a point where we've dealt with disappointment quite well. We could have quite easily have caved in on Sunday. When it went to 2-2 or when it went to 4-3, it could have been difficult for the players. But, you know, like I say, very, very quickly we were on the front foot again, trying to score a goal.
Yeah, and Michael, who, as we said, is going to come in, he might feel a bit aggrieved about that game.
Yeah, possibly, but he's more than experienced enough to deal with them type of things, and I'm sure you'll have a bit of a joke when he comes in and has a chat with you in a moment. But like I say, he's I think he's too streetwise to get involved in anything that's going to jeopardise the result on the day.
And finally, any particular injuries that you're concerned about ahead of the game?
No, there was a couple of knocks. I think when you get to a point where we are now in the middle of such a busy period, the biggest thing is looking after the players in between the games. So for me, it's making sure that they recover properly. And once they recover properly, us getting them out on the pitch and showing the same type of energy that they showed the other day.
Just carrying on the injury front, how's Jason Shackle and Bruno Andrade? Are they any closer to coming?
Shacks is close. Yeah, Shacks is close. You know, whether it's too soon for him tomorrow or not, obviously we'll find out. But I'm hoping, you know, as long as there's no reactions, he'll be in around the squad for the Sunderland game. Bruno's still quite a bit away at the minute.
Michael, Peterborough have been through a bit of a sticky patch. Are you expecting anything different from them tomorrow?
Potentially. I mean, I think we've seen in previous seasons with them that they do have a little bit of a spell every now and again where they have a dip, but then they kick on and go and get 7-8 straight wins on the bounce. So we're really mindful of that. They've got a lot of quality in the squad. If you allow them to get the noses in front of a game, they're very, very difficult to beat. So, you know, the first goal could be crucial. Could be crucial tomorrow. You know, we've been okay and we've been pretty good when we scored first and we got ahead. It means obviously the opposition have to come onto you a little bit, and with us being the home team as well, hopefully there'll be a full house or as close to it, which will spur us on hopefully.
Yeah. With regards to the window, obviously, how difficult just is it to plan for it? Because obviously it's something that evolves. As fans, we're expecting this, that, and the other. But obviously, if somebody does leave, the window evolves. You know, a striker may not be available, a loan may not happen. Just how difficult is it for you to plan that?
It is. You almost, you know, if you've got a target or a few targets, you know, I always have it in my head, right? Okay, yeah, I've got my main target, but reality is, you know, it's going to be 3 or 4 in terms of, right? Okay, they've all got strengths and weaknesses. That's the one we want, but unfortunately, you know, we've missed out on that, and we might get the 3rd and 4th, and that's not being disrespectful to any player that comes through the door, because that actually might be the number 1. But we have to be prepared to take a few knockbacks and setbacks in our recruitment. Like you say, it does evolve, because there'll be a situation where we might get a bid for a player, or there's a bit of an interest for our player that we weren't expecting, and all of a sudden we've got to sort of rejig a little bit. So I think it's important to make sure that you're looking in all positions, making sure that if one of your better players does have an opportunity to leave, or the question get asked, we've got someone ready to replace them.
I suppose one of the tough things for you is the window, ironically, comes at the time where you've also got masses of games at the same time. You've got all these Christmas games. So you're always having to manage, you know, in that injury situation and all the games at the same time.
Yeah, I'm from an injury point of view, I've not really sort of made a big issue of it, because sometimes it's seen as a little bit of an excuse, but we haven't had the best of luck at times with injuries since I've come in. You know, at one point I think there was 8 injuries, and we haven't got a big squad as it is. Like, we're literally just filling the bench at this moment in time with the players that are fit. So hopefully that will improve. Obviously, with the Bolton game being squeezed into January, that's another game that wasn't there initially. So yeah, we have to look after the players, like I've mentioned, in between the games, make sure they get the right recovery, and at the same time, obviously, make sure we keep our eye on what's available, who becomes available, because there'll be players that we feel or been told that are not available now, that in a week's time or 2 weeks' time will become available, and could be a good fit for us.
And is it difficult for you to kind of, I mean, fans obviously love to talk about the speculation around the window, but is that something you're aware of with the players, or is that just something, you know, it's their job, they'll get on with it?
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, if, for instance, that there's players that potentially are going to lead the building, they'll know about it. You know, they won't hear about it from the press or you guys, it'll be myself. But in terms of bodies coming in, you know, that's something that we, you know, try and keep as private as we possibly can, out of respect for the players that we might be bringing in, but more importantly, the clubs that obviously we're going to be dealing with.
Given your vast experience and the honesty which you always are on these occasions, which we all admire, when we gather together in 366 days' time for the first conference ready for 2021, where do you realistically expect the Imps to be? And I use the term realistic.
No, I think it's one of them, Chris, where, you know, and I say this with respect, if I feel and I know that I get backed, which I'm hoping to in the summer, and I do believe that, because obviously, you know, it's only been a short period of time, but I've got a really good relationship with the chairman, chief exec. So Clive and Liam, we speak regular. Obviously Jez, and obviously the rest of the board, to be fair. If I get backed in the way that I'm expecting to, then I expect us to be competing at the top end of the division. There's no doubt about that. I don't have to sit here and try and, oh well, you know, mid-table this and then kick on. The reality is this year, first and foremost, is making sure that we're in this division, we're competing at this level again next season. Is it 21 years last time we were in this division? Is it 21 years last time? So it's been a long time, and you know, we've faced pretty much everyone so far. We've got an opportunity to do it again with some of the teams. So make sure that we're nice and safe this year, hopefully, and then obviously next year gives us an opportunity to really kick on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoying being back playing. You've had a little run of 60 minutes and a bit longer on Boxing Day.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Missed 5 or 6 weeks. Didn't miss many games because there was a few games called off in that period, but no, it's good to get back, get my fitness back. I think I lost 83 or 84 minutes the other day, so I'm getting there.
And it must be nice to hear the manager's been talking quite a bit about you and saying how important he feels your experience and the way you play the game is to Lincoln at the moment.
Yeah, it's nice to hear the gaffer praise you. I think we've got a lot of experience in there. We've got Bodgie and Kane, 2 centre backs. I think it's important in any team to have experience in the span of the team. But we've got some youth in there as well, some legs, which is good for the old ones. But no, it's at the minute now. I think the game against Ipswich, everything seemed to click. Defensively. I know we conceded 3 goals, but there were 3 sloppy goals. They didn't play through us. But I thought our attacking play on the day was different class. Yeah,
I was at the 2 away games, and it felt like they were tough results to take.
Yeah, they were. Coventry and Oxford are going to be top 3 teams this year, no doubt about that. And we pushed them all away, especially Oxford. The last 5 minutes they were hanging on for the win. Against Coventry, first half we were poor, but we knew that. Second half we done okay, done better. But to come away with 2 1-0 defeats away to the two of the top teams in this league, you can take some confidence from that.
A lot of people said to me when the previous managers moved on, all the fans are going to go away, there's going to be no atmosphere at Sincil Bank, it's all going to be doom and gloom. They probably should have been there the other day, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think, I spoke to a few fans after the game and they said that's one of the best games I've seen in a long time. And, to play in that game, it was end to end. You've seen the scoreline 5-3, it was great to be involved in. And, we want to entertain the fans. I think the other day the big thing for us was having a good start to the game. We knew that. We know they haven't won in 6 or 7 games. There's a bit of thing going on behind the scenes at Ipswich. So we knew we had a good start. We could kick on, and what a good start we kicked on.
And when you look at the last 3 games, admittedly 2 defeats, but close defeats, you've measured up well against teams right at the top of the table.
Yeah, just said that. Yeah, I think Oxford win the league this year. That's the best team I've seen them played against this year. And Coventry, they're starting to click at the minute. They're winning games every week now. They're probably the 2 best possession-based teams we've played this season, and we've given them a good go. To lose 1-0 away from home, it's not a bad result.
Peterborough United coming up. Had a good first half last time out.
Yeah, and enjoyed that first 45 minutes against them. Something happened just after half time, but no, it's part and parcel of the game. You get knocks in the game. People do this and do that. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully getting the chance to play against them again, because their last 2 results haven't been great. We know it could end up 1 or 2 ways. They could be a wounded animal, or they could be confidence could be gone. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully playing against them New Year's Day and getting 3 points.
You're not the sort of player who do things to the detriment of the team, but you have admitted you got a little black book.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that's sitting somewhere. At 100%. I won't get sent off or do something stupid. It won't be good for the team for me to do that. No, to be down to 10 men. So, no, I'm just looking forward. If it was a 50-50 tackle, then I look forward to that. But apart from that, I'm just concentrating on helping the team get 3 points. And the home form at the minute for us has been very good since the Gaffers come in. So hoping to keep that going. And
they lost 4-0 last time out. We all know that can be one of 2 things: 1, it will carry on, or 2, it can actually spark them into being quite dangerous.
Yeah, it's a strange one. They've had two tough results. I think they've lost 4-0 and 3-0. I think. So it could go 1 or 2 ways. It could be a wounded animal, as I said, or it could be their confidence could be shot. To lose 7-0 now, get the last 2 games, it's not good for any team. But it'll be down to us to have a good start again. It's important in this league to have whatever team you play, you have a good start at home and gets the fans off the streets.
You're very experienced at League One level. When you look at this table, look at Lincoln, where do you think are realistic goals for the rest of the season?
I don't know, it's a strange league this year. It didn't help with Bury going out of the league and then Bolton minus points, but it's no one expected Wickham to be top of the table at this stage. So in this league, if you win 3 or 4 games on the bounce, you're up there. If you lose 3 or 4, you're down there. So it's so close. I think the next 6, 7, 8 weeks will be important for any team. If you can get a run going, you could be up there towards February, March time. So it's going to be an important next 7 or 8 weeks.
And in terms of your own future, we're getting towards January when players traditionally start thinking about it, understandably.
Yeah.
Where are you with that?
I'm just enjoying playing football, being back fit. You know, I missed 5 weeks, so I'm just back in the team now. Enjoying my football. You know, enjoy playing that game against Ipswich, and you know, it's all I can do is perform on the pitch and sort of try and earn myself a contract, because that's what I'm doing. You know.
So in an ideal world, you'd love to stay at Lincoln?
Yeah, I'd love to finish my career here. You know, whether it's 1 year, 2 years. I'd love to stay here. I've lived here for the last 10 years. I love the city. The fans have been brilliant with me since I've come, and it's a great set of lads. And the manager, I want to play under the manager because I think he's going to go places with this club.
And obviously, a young Irishman coming in, I presume you might have trained with him yet or not, I don't know, but you're going to hopefully help him settle in, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. All the lads have been feeling welcome. You know, it's important for the new lads that come in that the lads make them feel welcome and make them feel part of the group, and we've done that. You know, there'll be more signings coming in January. But it's a good set of lads, you know, we've got at the minute, and hopefully we can add 2, 3, 4 players to that and help us kick on.
I'm trying to think if you were here at the start. I'm looking at Christopher across the room. If you were here at the start of the decade, not far off, probably just a bit before, wasn't it?
2009 it was, yeah. Come on,
so
on the
just
Jackal.
about on the cusp. So you're a great person to ask then. When is it?
Well,
It was February 2009, March 2009. So,
yeah,
So just before the-
Chris, you should know that. You've got him there. It's the first time I've seen him not answer a question. He's meant to be the man.
But you'd be a great person. I mean, obviously not quite, but you can judge a club in 10 years. How much do you feel this club has changed in the last 10 years?
It's hard to describe. You know, I was here 10 years ago. I think we were on the verge of the playoffs. We were like 8th or 9th when I came in, and we were getting 3,500 fans here. You know, it's completely different now. It's unbelievable now. You know, the last 3 years, the club's just gone on massively, and you know, we want to get that next step. Well, that's next year, the year after. I think we'll get there.
I mean, you've touched on it there, obviously coming back from injury. There's quite a fixture sort of congestion at the Christmas period. What's that like for you coming back as an injured player? Is it a case of preservation, or are you wanting to play just all the time?
You want to play every game. You know, it's been tough for me the last 3 games. You know, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 32 now. I'm alongside of 30. Come back from an injury, but I felt good. I felt good the last 2-3 games. You know, the first game against Coventry, I was about 1 or 2 yards off it, a bit rusty. But you know, the last game against Ipswich, I thought I was getting close to what I was before I got injured. So no, I'm fit and available to play now. I want to play against Peterborough.
Yeah, and obviously Peterborough United coming up. But what do you expect to come from them? Although they have lost the last 2 games, they are still up there. Like I think Michael Appleton said before, they do still pose some of the top goal scorers in the league. And
I think attacking wise, they've got the best front 3, front 4 in the league. But the minute the last 2 games just hadn't happened for them. You know, I just said that they could be a wounded animal, or they could be, their confidence could be gone. So it's down to us to have a good start and put them on the back foot straight away.
Cheers.
No. Right, I mean, just to be
Come on,
correct,
Chris.
you weren't here this decade. You left in May 2009, but we'll forget that one.
Still got why'd you stand there then?
Now, as an experienced man, and you partly broached it when you was talking about Bury and Bolton, do you think it makes any difference that we've played so many games away? The total disproportionate number of home and away games, do you think that has affected us this season in the league position, or as a senior player doesn't it make much difference?
Yeah, you always want to play at home, do you know what I mean, in front of your own fans. But I think we'll play 13 away and 9 at home.
Yeah, correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's not bad at these stats, am I?
That's good, you're good.
I'm taking over your job soon. You may be careful. Yeah, so we're 4 games behind on that. So, but our home record's been very good since the gaffer's come in, and you know you want to play your games at home, but you have to play games away, and you need to try and get points away from home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm taking over your job, Chris. 2 years.
All right.